From my research element, I found that most people preferred streaming music rather than buying hard copies. Do you feel that that would lend itself to this digipack or not?
Yeah, I think so. With the amount of vinyl we've got here in the house, we're sort of, well, maybe not use lots so much, but I'm certainly quite keen to continue to collect vinyl. Vinyl that, as we know, is coming back. But the point to make is that if this was in a vinyl format, it would sell, because having been to pretty much all the concerts and everything else they do, most people who go there walk away with vinyl.
Yeah. Maybe the odd CD for the car, but the majority of it is vinyl, and I think that's a genre thing as well. I think this type of thing is vinyl based.
Yeah. And do you feel like the vinyl goes further than streaming with this genre, because that was sort of where its roots came from, like where it's sort of established its sound was during that sort of period?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, don't forget the computers have changed they're quite smart in what they do. That every album is different, isn't it?
Yeah.
From that sort of noise punk that it was on the original one, where Al just basically turned himself inside out at the microphone for 12 songs. It's all.
Yeah, it's gone like garage soul, then quite bluesy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And another point to make is that you have a fantastic poster. That poster would appear record shops and things like that too. Well, record shops, there we go, music shops, online and things like that. But if you were to have, say, an A2 poster folded and placed with a vinyl album, 12-inch album, that's the sort of thing that drives it forward. You can also, rather than having, your computer, your digital pack that goes in the little booklet, you can have that on the sleeve of the record. You could have that as another booklet in there. All your imagery will be a lot bigger, because a 12-inch album is a lot bigger than the CD size, which is about 6-7 centimetres, something like that. So the format, it would be even more striking. So yeah, I think
it suddenly becomes a pack of stuff,
Yeah.
rather than just a small
CD.
booklet.
Yeah,
it's something that you would probably actually sit down and have a good look at.
And I think another point to make is that streaming's all well and good if you instantly want it, but realistically, music's more of an experience than just listening to something. There's an intimacy with vinyl that you don't get with CD or any of the other let-ups or setups as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you take the record out, you look at it, you read the album cover. There's some fantastic artwork. I mean, if anyone who watches this wants anything to look at, they must, and they're of any age, they'll remember Roger Dean's covers for Yes albums in the mid-70s, which were full of paintings and booklets and things like that. It was a whole experience. Even the punk stuff had some
Do you feel like
covers.
you listen to music for escapism then? So you feel that by having a hard copy it's more worthwhile than having it just so accessible?
I mean, I have loads of CDs that get slung in the car, they're played, they end up on the floor, they're all damaged, I mean, you chuck them away, and you just, and it's not the same, whereas album or a single, you take a bit of time with it, you keep it clean, you've got to be careful, you don't want to scratch them any more than they are already, but it's like, it's more like taking a photograph out at that point. So if I had a vinyl album, especially one that I got signed, because that's the other thing, to get the tickets signed and everything else, it's that whole experience that comes with it. But that's just my preference. I mean, your preference will be different because you're half my age. So
yeah, I'd probably more likely go for a CD. For ease, I do a lot of driving back and forth to work, so if I want to listen to their music, the majority of the time when I'm listening to music would be in the car. So CD, streaming for me, straight through my phone into the radio. So I suppose that's where your research probably reflects, is when you're looking age-wise. But like he said, you spend a lot more time if you have like a record. You have that, you go, I'm going to put this on, and you spend 5 minutes at least listening to the tracks that you want, rather than just flicking through on the steering wheel to find something that keeps you driving.
Yeah.
And do you feel like with a vinyl or a CD, you sort of listen to a whole album and you appreciate it as one thing, rather than streaming or in a CD as well. You just kind of skip, like you said, to
Yeah.
what certain ones, and you don't appreciate it as like a whole transition of songs. Like they've put it in that order and written all those ones for a reason, and people sort of skip past the sort of journey they're trying to portray. And do you think that's something that's sort of overlooked a lot in the music industry?
Yeah,
Definitely,
that's a real good point, actually. When I was about 14, I took an album, so this is mid-70s, I took an album by a band called Ultravox, and not the Ultravox that were on Top of the Pops all the time, but the original Ultravox, so it was more sort of chainsaw guitars and punk, a bit like these fellas actually, to my uncles, who had a vast vinyl collection even then, you know, lots of Hendrix and all that sort of stuff. And I said, here we are, I'll lend you this, you need to listen to this. And he went, oh, we'll do that now then, right? And he turned the thing on, he shut all the doors, turned his hi-fi on, and we listened to it from one end to the other, and then not a sound, turned it over, and he listened to completely the other side. And then he sat and discussed with me what he thought and how he went, and like you say, the journey that Ultravox took, which was around Europe on that particular album. Systems of Romance, it's called. And that was the first time I'd done that, but that was a real good thing to do. And there used to be a big thing in themed albums as well, didn't we? Well, you'll know a themed album. It's called The Streets. Do you remember them lot? Yeah, the Grand Don't Come for Free.
Yeah.
There we are. There's a themed album that's recent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you can jump in and out, as you say, but the tracks don't make any sense on their own at all. But people do that, and they don't.
Yeah.
They miss.
It doesn't have as much value, does it? Like it's
Well, you don't get the full experience
underappreciated,
that they're trying to portray.
Yeah.
Really.
Mind you, picking up on that note, their new album, Birth to Death, I feel if you listen to that the whole way through, it is almost like
that the
listening to
Streets
a
as
year.
well?
No, that's the
Computers.
Computers.
Oh right, is it?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Super fan here, didn't know that.
Yeah, but again, you do have to do that listening from beginning to end.
yeah, it's
whereas
very
I
much a
said-
journey.
Yeah,
Because it starts
confused.
with birth, doesn't it? And then the last
And
track is
death,
death,
yeah.
and
You've
it's
got,
the
like,
progression.
New Year's Eve, one
Yeah.
in there, so you know you're pivoting. Certainly, my age group, when you're alone at New Year, that's a very
But that's an interesting point, really. And the point to make is that you don't really get that. I don't feel you don't get as much of that from a CD because you're tempted to skip. There's even
so easy.
It's so
now,
much
you
easier,
can sample
isn't
in
it?
your car 5 seconds of this track, then the next, then the next. Well,
What's the point?
you know, you're missing the point. But maybe that's me. Maybe people are more instantaneous. And the other thing is, if you want to rip a CD on your computer and make another copy of it, it takes about 15 seconds, doesn't
Yeah.
it? 20 seconds. Well, in the old days, and especially now, you have to play that vinyl from one end to the other.
Sorry.
There's no other way of recording it at all, which, as you've seen, I mean,
Yeah.
it's taken me, to do 400 singles took me about 6 months to play both sides and scan it.
And the rest.
And people go, oh, well, what a waste of time. No, I actually listened to stuff that I hadn't listened to for 20 or 30 years, and some of it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, and it takes you right back. So you'll remember listening to some of those songs there when you took those photographs. And listening to that is like a photograph. I feel it, but it spurs memories.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, certainly.
and that I suppose doesn't really matter what the format is, but it's to me I prefer, as you probably worked out, vinyl. That's what the house is full of. But, yeah.
Oh, definitely. Some of the songs that I remember vividly because of where or what I was feeling at
Yeah,
the time
you have
of
memories
listening.
attached to them.
Yeah.
Well, like I picked up on the last, no, not the last, but the one before that, Record Shop Day, a double album, which is that live concert that we went to, and we're actually on the cover, aren't we?
Yeah, and
And what have
I've
you. So, you know,
barged my way onto the front of another one somewhere.
yeah. But the point is that we're connected with that.
Yeah.
You always remember it,
Yeah.
certainly. And with the computers being slightly smaller
And
as well.
it's quite a personal and intimate sort of experience with
I mean,
them.
and he smacked me in the face with the guitar.
Yeah.
We were-
I remember the second time we went to see them, there was like 12 of us
Yeah, that's
in a
right.
small pub in Swindon.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic, and that's one of my favourite memories, I think.
Yeah, well, we photographed that, didn't we? And we got the vinyl again from there, signed. You know, all that sort of stuff. The posters, nicked all the posters off the wall and stuff like that.
It's more of an experience, isn't it?
And I think that's the point. And what your video does is it helps pull that together. The digital pack's really good because it does allow you to be absorbed in what they're doing. But
the idea of the narrative thread running through it was the idea of the intimacy with the band and how even though they are progressing and getting bigger, they still have that personal side to them. Like they will always go after the gig and speak to people. And it's just
when we were in Marlborough that day and what have you, they came.
Came and said hi.
And they all sung to your mum, didn't they?
Yeah,
actually,
and they all liked my yellow coat.
But still, we went down to Exeter. This would have been a good couple of years now, and they played a bigger venue. I think this was a New Year's thing.
It was their Christmas thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was a bigger venue. It was an O2 Academy, but it was still so intimate.
Yeah.
And I think that you've really captured that sound and everything across the video, even to the poster, you know, where it's a close-up shot of Al exactly how he is in the gig, where he's leaning over the microphone straight into the crowd. I think you've really shown that really well. So.
And people will say, well, if you buy vinyl, how do you see the video? Well, that's where the internet bit comes in, because of course all the stuff you do pick up nowadays usually has a ticket, so you can stream it if you want to stream it, and you don't have to play your vinyl, you know, wherever. But you can also access the video and things off their websites, you know. So vinyl isn't old age anymore.
No.
It was picked up loads of it cheap because nobody wanted it, and now everyone wants it. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
But,
well, one thing with the computers themselves is they advertise their vinyl over their CD.
Yeah,
that is their main selling. When they releasing a new album, it was get your vinyl, and then it's like, oh, and there's a CD as well.
But as I've said previously, I think that